It's time for some Baroque music on the ukulele. Let me go post this on our website. The website is jollyrogerukulele.com, and we're doing classical music all this week. Today we're doing yesterday we did a studio by Tarrega, Beethoven's for Elise, and Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Today we're doing Petzold's Menuett Suite. We're first two pages of it. It takes a couple of days to get through this song. It's pretty long, and it's pretty worth your effort. And so, let me post our link here real quick. Paste, shift. All right. Make sure it's working, and then we'll be ready to get going. This will give everybody a chance to come sit down and knock this thing out. There we go, looking good. And there we go, awesome. And then HTTPS jollyrogerukulele.com space quote Bach Menuett I spell it in the German way, Menuett Suite by Petzold by Petzold. Alright, and then let's go ahead and add on the little photo. And I hit tweet. Sure enough, works great. All right, so there's that. There's that. It is really toasty in here. Let's see. We're ready to go. I have to find out. I'm desperate to know what the temperature is. I went out first thing this morning. It was lovely. I got my hair cut, and then I haven't been outside lately because I didn't go out because there's so much smoke and haze and weirdness in the air. It says it's only 79 degrees out there, but it feels really toasty in here. So I don't know, maybe I need to go lower the temperature or something. Turn on the air conditioning. That's the answer to all things. Let's get this going. Today we're playing Bach's Menuett Suite. Those of you guys who've been with me a while, you've played this before. Remember, we had this thing in pretty solid shape when we played with the Boulder group, and so I'm kind of excited to take a look at it again, see if I've gotten any better at playing ukulele, and we'll find out, won't we? Vic is in. Sound is good. Warm up in Eugene. They're mid-80s. That's a little on the toasty side for you, Vic. Lynn is in. Dreary day in New Jersey. That's a bummer. We want every day to be perfect in New Jersey. Jan is in. We have a cell signal where we're camping. Go here. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so we sent Jan out in the woods. Said, all right, there's bears and mountain lions up there. Good luck. There's no cell service. But there she's got cell service. So she's up in the middle of the mountains. All she has to do is play a little Bach, and all the little bunnies will come hopping around, and they'll sit at her feet and listen to her play Baroque music on ukulele. Michelle is in. 68 degrees. Windy up in Rockaway Beach today, so that's okay. All right, guys, Bach's Menuett Suite. It's really written by Christian Petzold. It was not until 1970 something that they figured out this Bach didn't write this, and so it's actually sort of an amusing story that we have here. What you've got in front of you is 5 pages. We're only going to work on page 1 and 2 today, and then we're going to work on page 3 and 4 tomorrow, and we'll see if we even can go that quickly. Okay, we may have to add an additional down. Page 5 is fundamentally identical to page 1, so you don't need to study page 5. The only thing that's different, I think, is the last measure, right? And so, yeah, that's it. That's the only thing that's different with the whole rest of the song. The other thing about this piece is that you will almost certainly have heard the first page. Pretty good chance you've heard the second page. Very little likelihood you've heard the third page, and probably have not heard the fourth page. Okay, so it's one of these songs where everybody plays the first page and then that's it. but you will recognize the tune quickly enough, I think. And I do think that here again is another piece of music that a pro would take this and be like, oh, I'm going to play this real lickety split, and people are going to think I'm something. And so I do think it's a fun piece of music and an arrangement I'm pretty darn proud of, to be perfectly honest with you. Ronnie's in 92 down in New Mexico, and he says, what is the name of the page turning app you're using? Lost the info. My page turning app is called Fourscore, Fourscore, and it's for iPad, and it is magnificent as far as I can tell. So far, I love every single thing about it. Every single thing works perfect. We'll mention on this piece of music that the standard notation is going to drop below middle C at some point. I'm trying to peek and see where it happens. Where does it happen? When the chords, sometimes the chords are going to drop below middle C. I would, if I were reading the standard notation, generally ignore those, because you've got the chords in a much more sensible form in the tablature. But I wanted you to just, have a opportunity to see what they look like. So if you see the tough uke in standard notation there, that's what you're really playing. Okay, the tough uke in tablature looks exactly like every single thing else we play. And so, hey, good morning, Janice. Good to see you. Janice is from Sydney, Australia. Glad to have you, Janice. So you have this situation that I sort of fight against standard notation for fretted instruments because it's inferior as a system for what we do. But it is certainly something that a lot of us, because we have grown up in academia, think, oh, you need to do standard notation because it's very, very important, and it's really not. But at least on this piece of music, you can actually see what you're really playing, and it's set up if you're playing a low G ukulele. If you're playing a high G ukulele, the very bottom note is actually an octave higher than that. It's actually for example, the very first note here, that bottom note's a G. So you're playing this high G, which is already being covered by the G note up above it. So I don't know why I put that on there originally back in the day when I first arranged this, but I've left it on ever since, just so we can have a little talk about standard notation. Standard notation is perfect. It's perfect for playing many, many instruments, but for fretted instruments, it's really not, because we have multiple voicings and multiple ways of making the same chord at any given point, and it's just not the best system. But because it's academically oriented, people think it's more important, which is a silly way to think, but that's how people think. Patricia Loton, good to see you. All right, Bach's Menuett. Let's make sure you know your chords on page 1. You need a G chord, bum ba da da da, and another G chord, bum bum bum, and then a C chord, bum ba da da da, G chord, bum bum bum, D7. That's a bar in here, and just notice what you're really playing. You're really playing a C7 moved up to bar 2. Bum ba da, and then back to a G chord at 6. Bum ba da, D7. Bum ba da, bum bum ba 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 bum. Okay, and then the idea starts again at 9. Bum ba da bum bum. A C chord, bum ba da dum bum bum. D7 at 13. Bum ba da bum ba da. And the other D7, bum ba da bum bum bum. Okay, so that's your chords, and you'll obviously play those if you are doing a duet with somebody. Let's run through the melody, and you'll recognize the melody from the top. 1, 2, 3. Oops, let me start again. I apologize. I know how to play this song. 1, 2, 3. 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. 5, 3, 2, 0. 2, 3, 2, 0. 3, 0, 3023 20 5325 3023 33 7 357 910. That's it. You also see the repeat there, so when you're playing this, you'll play page one time, then you'll go back and go right back to the top and play it a second time. Second time through, you skip measure 16, you do play 17, and then you turn the page. Okay? All right, now let's talk tough uke. Okay? Start off every time in tough uke, every time in fingerstyle, we always grab the chord to get started. You got a G chord. I'm going to put my pinky up on 5. Okay, and this shape, as you already know, comes up all the time. Hit those 4 strings, and then 3023. I'm using my pinky to get to that 3, and then slide it all the way up to 5 and hit it again. A couple of 3s. 0007 3579. And then with this 10, you put the bar on 7. You have that high G chord. And 2 7s on the 3rd string. Slide down to 2. Grab the 3. 5320. G chord. 3203. And then you notice the bar chord, the chord is D7, but the looks to me for all the world like a D chord hanging out there. So I just grab a 2-2-2 with my index, middle, and ring. And through 3-0-2. And now back to your G chord. 5-3-2. Here's your G chord again. Grab the 7. 3579. Bar chord on 10 or 7. Slide down, grab your D7. 5320. 320. And then a regular D7 or an open, I guess there's no regular one, but an open D7. 2-0. 3, 2, and then grab your G chord, top 3 strings, pinky on 5, and then G chord again. Okay, let's play it through one time, and then I don't know why I decided we could do this in 2 days. I don't think we can, guys. It's probably going to take us 4 days to get through this one. So why don't we just do this? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, let's just focus in on Bach's Menuett. I don't want to go too fast on it because you've got a piece here that's really, really world-class music, and it'd be nice. I did have one of my young students that I do over Skype has this whole entire thing memorized, and his goal is to play it as fast as it can possibly be played. And you should hear the thing when even I don't play it that fast. I'm like, that's a little too fast. His tone is not what I need it to be, but his speed is unbelievable, and it really sounds like a great piece. So it's worth putting in some time, and it can be quite fun to play. Let's play from the top one more time. I'm going to switch from claw plucking to thumb plucking and show you that works as well. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that fun? It's just really beautiful. So this week, instead of trying to cram Bach and Beethoven into the same week, that's, I don't know, sometimes haven't had any alcohol in many decades, but sometimes I'm pretty sure I'm drunk when I'm putting that website together. So let's take this at a leisurely pace. Let's get this whereas we've really got something going on here. Let's play it one more time, and then we'll switch to the baritone version of it, and then we'll have something really cool sounding. Okay, so one more time through. Remember, the first time you play it, you play into 16. The second time you play it, you don't play 16, you skip to 17. And if you look at that, you're like, 16 and 17 are identical. What are you doing, Gary? That can happen, right? Sometimes they are identical, and sometimes they're not. In this particular piece, I think all the first and second repeats are identical. Oh, no, not in page 3, they're not. In page 4, they are not as well. So, all right, so I wasn't completely out of my mind. Trying to just create some parallelism where you just get comfy reading your sheet music. And again, with a piece like this, let yourself take the time to let the tones develop. Try not to lift up your fingers at all unless you have to. Let the tones ring as long as they can. In Baroque music, we tend to think of it as being played on a harpsichord. Ding, 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 ding. And we have the perfect instrument for that. We don't have a ton of sustain, so we end up sounding a little bit like a harpsichord. But even still, you want, from a modern perspective, you'd like those notes to linger as long as possible. So hit the chord or hit the note, and then don't lift up your fingers unless you absolutely have to. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now try to keep the pacing steady. Obviously, we could always crank up the speed a little bit to make it sound a little bit more in what probably the original would have sounded like. Bum ba da 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 bum 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 ba da 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 dum. And I've heard this played at a crazy high speed, both on piano and then my little buddy that's taking lessons from me. I don't necessarily think the speed makes it any better. It makes it harder to play, I suppose, but it doesn't necessarily make it better. All right, so now let's talk about turning this into an orchestral piece. So let's pretend. Okay, and so guys, 1 page a day. Well, that's what we'll do. This page Tuesday, and in each page. So you have the whole song. You can look ahead and see what we got coming. If you want to work on the whole song on your own, absolutely feel free to do that. But we'll just do 1 page each day. And now let's go pull up the baritone version of this. What did I do with it? Menuett Suite baritone. Okay, now when you go to baritone, everything's the same on the page, as you guys are getting pretty comfy with. The pagination's not the same. I'm going to have to go through and fix that. But so what I do is going to be the same. What you do as ukulele players is different. Okay, remember you have 3 beats per measure. So if it were me, I'm going to put on a D chord here. Your D chord obviously looks like this, okay? And then your G chord. Your A7 is right here. D chord, we just did. D, D, G, D, A, G, A7. Okay, so that's the whole front page. Okay, we'll stop at measure 16. Okay, so when we have this going on, you as a ukulele player are probably thinking bum ba da 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 bum bum bum. Right, that's what the melody's going to do. You're probably going to do bum ba da 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 bum 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 ba da 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 bum 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 ba da ba da bum ba da ba da bum ba da ba da bum 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 ba da 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 dum bum 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 ba da 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 bum bum bum. That's what you're probably thinking of as a accompaniment player, especially since the melody in this case is going to be lower than your voicing, and you're thinking, all right, Gary's got a baritone, the melody is going to come out a little bit lower. I don't want to get in the way of the melody, so as a ukulele player, since my voicing is a little bit higher, I want to keep it more like a drum beat and not overplay my hand, because you could do bum ba da ba da bum 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 ba da ba da bum. You could do that, right? And all of a sudden your audience can no longer hear the melody because they're busy hearing you thunk-a thunk-a thunk. What I would say is, well, my best example of that is, I don't remember the song we were doing, but we were working with the new members group in the orchestra, and I needed one of them, to play the chords like that, clung, 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 and the other 20 of them to play the melody. And so we ended up at and it started off, of course, because they're all newer players, most of them wanted to do chords. And over time, they figured out playing chords is a lot harder than I thought it was, and playing melodies is a lot easier than I thought it was. And so it's sort of, we went with way too many chord players all the way down until we only had one chord player who was this really solid, competent chord player, clunk, 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 and then the melody players were able to just knock out the melody, and it ended up sounding really fine. So when you are accompaniment, don't overplay your hand. Your job is to be there and to be decorative and to create a neighborhood for the melody to live in, but the melody is still in charge. Let whoever is playing the lead be the lead. Okay, and so if you think about a rock band, there's going to be a drummer, right, keeping the beat, and then there's going to be a bass player setting the root note, and then there's going to be two other guitarists. One's going to be lead guitar, and one's going to be accompaniment guitar, or chord guitar, or rhythm guitar, sometimes they call it. But basically, those are the jobs. So somebody needs to keep the beat, somebody needs to set the root note, somebody needs to set the chord, and somebody needs to set the melody. And a lot of times they can delete the lead guitarist if they have a good singer. And then the lead guitarist magically becomes the chord player, and the chord player, you kick him out of the band because you don't like him anyway. Okay. All right. Hey, Pam, overcast and raining up in Connecticut. Sounds like you got the New Jersey weather. You guys are all dealing with the same thing. All right, let's play through this. You guys on ukulele or accompaniment, baritone players, nice and steady. Just one time through to measure 16. 1, 2, 3. Sound better, hopefully. Okay, hopefully those chords are not too tough for you. If any of them are throwing you for a loop, you guys know, just draw yourself a little picture. Here's what a D chord looks like on ukulele. Here's what a G chord looks like. That way, you gotta, those places where you goof up the chord, right, just make yourself a little handwritten map there of what you're supposed to do, and it'll end up sounding really nice. All right, so there's Bach's Menuett. We agreed, those of you guys who wandered in late, that we're not going to do this 2 pages a day. We're going to do 1 page a day. I think that's a more comfortable pace to knock this thing out. Some of you guys have already played this with me before, so this will be review for you. You will remember pages 1 and 2, not too bad. Pages 3 is tough. Page 4, really, really tough. Okay, and unfortunately I didn't paginate the baritone the same as the other. I'll have to go back through and redo that. Yeah, this is a piece of music where if you just sat down and played it every single day, you would end up completely impressing your friends, and you would never really need to have any other songs. They'd say, hey, play something for me, and you'd spend the next 4 minutes knocking out Bach's Menuett Suite, and they'd be like, oh, do you have lessons? That's how impressive this piece can be for you. I'm going to fix the pagination. All right, there's that. Hope you guys had fun with that. Sliding in late, Nancy. Hoping no, we paid no attention, Nancy. Good to see you. Lynn, giving me a thumbs up. Jan, thanks. Love this melody. Yeah, and it's not a bad idea for you to go listen to the G minor, G major, G minor suite on YouTube as played on piano. This is known as it's definitely a piano tune, and it just happened that it makes a lot of sense on ukulele, and I didn't have to really change that much about it to make it work. That's the beauty of Bach and Baroque music in general. Is it really was set up to follow the rules, and to be as pretty as possible. And so there you go. All right, so work on page 1 today, and then page 2 we'll tackle tomorrow, and page 3 we'll tackle the day after that, and page 4 the day after that, and page 5 is the same as page 1, so we won't tackle that at all. We'll just end up playing it next week. So Bach Menuett Suite for the week, and that's going to be a sweet week. Next hour we're going to play Wonderful Tonight by what's his face, Eric Clapton. And then we're going to get started on Billy Joel's Piano Man. So come on and hang out with us and go do that. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thanks for being here. Hopefully that's a fun song for you to work on this week. And I'm going to head on out. Hit the thumbs up button. Peace.